Don't leave me in here. Please, please, please.
Taking place around the time of The Boys Season 3, we have a story happening at a college campus for teenage supes. A bunch of young people being trained not so much on their superpowers, but how they can become internet stars. Their self-worth and value being tied to the amount of likes and views they get, and their marketing appeal to Vault. Basically, if Vault don't like you, you don't exist. Now, if you want to talk about a shocking start to someone's story, it doesn't get much more alarming than a girl getting her period for the first time and the blood killing both her parents.
Marie, what happened? Marie, what the hell happened?
If you enjoy the movie Pixels, you're gonna love this video. Bloody Mary's real name is Marie, and as you might have guessed, her power is the ability to control blood. A bold choice for a protagonist's powers. She's just received news of being accepted into Goldolkin University, and here she meets her new roommate, Little Cricket. But I only have room for one crazy cricket in my life, so I'll be using her actual name of Emma. She gives her a little tour of the uni, making a pit stop at the football field, so Emma can ogle the campus hottie, quite literally hottie, Golden Boy. The only viable match for a golden boy is a golden girl, who doesn't officially have a soup name, simply falling under the label of Guardian of Goldolkin.
That's it? That's the best you got?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
I'll give her my own soup name of Cortex Kate. Back to Marie, she's all pissy because she's not being accepted into her crime fighting classes for the very shallow reason of not having an online following.
You're competing with kids who have cleared homicide cases, who have over 1 million followers, and you don't even have an Insta.
She tries appealing to Professor Brink, and oh look, it's Kurt Caldwell. I also covered Dexter New Blood, but now I'm talking about Marie New Blood. Just like Kurt Caldwell, he's got a cold heart, and won't be emotionally bribed into giving her a chance.
Performing arts is a fine program. You could be on Dancing with the Stars.
That evening, she spots a soup losing his cool and running away from authorities, so to earn some good girl points with the school, she helps take him down. They take him to a weird looking cell block, where the only view he gets of the outside world is a picture of the outside world.
Please, don't leave me in here. Please, please, please.
Marie makes friends with Golden Boy's friends. We have Jordan, who's Brink's PA, and has the power to switch genders. And we also have Andre, who basically has Magneto powers. They go to a club looking for a good time, but then Golden Boy has a strange vision of being in the forest with a young lad begging for help. Kind of like that freak out guy, so maybe they're connected. Andre's having a better time flirting with a rando and showing off his powers until he gets bumped and accidentally slices someone's neck open. Marie jumps into action, stuffing all the blood back in her neck and saving her life. Brink commends her heroic actions, but he also wants to expel her, as they need someone to blame for what happened to the woman, and her powers aren't as commercially appealing as Andre's.
Those blood powers of yours, they're a non-starter in Middle America. There's no 4-quadrant appeal there.
When she goes back to appeal to him again, she finds Golden Boy burning him to death, saying that he's to blame for the boy in his visions being trapped in the woods. Okay, Marie says, that's nice, I'm gonna go now. He chases Marie, but then gets stopped by Jordan, and the two have a scrap while Marie gets out of there. Outside, he calls off, seeing that Andre's there to console him, but still he feels that his mind is too far gone, so he floats up in the air and combusts himself.
I'm sorry. Help Sam if you can, please.
Ashley's freaking out because Golden Boy's death means that Vault loses money. Classic Ashley. She also isn't too keen on the spotlight being on Jordan, as their gender-based powers won't be favourable to the conservative crowd. So she orders some media manipulation to tag Andre and Marie as the actual heroes who fought against Golden Boy. The kids around campus latch on to Marie for being ramped up on their social media rankings to the current top 10, which frustrates the others who actually put in the work and earn their place in the top 10. But Marie gets to bask in the spotlight because the company insists that she's the one who should be there. Jordan takes a big issue with this, because she was the only one who fought against Golden Boy.
I fought Luke to protect you and you're just taking all the credit?
I'm taking whatever they give me.
So you're fine just f***ing me over.
Look, I get that this sucks for you.
I really love this detail of Brink's memorial being attended by influencers who want to fake their emotions and capitalise on his death.
I can't believe this is happening.
Cortex Kate notices a guy in a MAGA hat not being very empathetic about the memorial, so Kate tricks his mind into believing that it's a great idea to go away and smack himself in the nuts.
Every hour on the hour. And every time you swing, yell Jumanji.
While paired up for their acting assignment, Emma reveals in confidence to her new friend that in order to use her powers and get small, she has to purge her body into the toilet bowl. Sounds like she could use some fight milk.
Cowboy! Hey, oh!
We love your drink. We just had some. Yeah, I mean, I'd get up and shake your hands if I wasn't shitting my brains out right now.
She feels shame in this process, knowing the harm it has on her body, but doing it anyway for those sweet YouTube views. Turns out this new friend was only getting close to her to get a story and to post it online to her followers, all the while pretending to be the good person who's simply spreading awareness.
I thought you had an experience that could help other girls.
Yeah, I can get a shit ton of new followers, huh?
The Dean of Goldolkin University, Indira Shetty, goes down to see Freakout Boy, whose name we find out is Sam. Before this, she was giving Marie some counselling about her traumatic past, clearly repressing feelings of guilt, knowing that her sister saw what she did to their parents.
My sister. I've been looking for her, and maybe with enough money, I can find her. We could be a family again.
Looking into Golden Boy's death, Andre finds a phone where he recorded a secret message asking them to help his brother, who they up until now believe to be dead. Andre breaks into Brink's office and finds the file reporting that Sam is still alive and being held in a cell. He follows some suspect looking guards down into a basement, but one of them pulls a sneak attack and uses this soundwave device to cripple his powers. But then, God, I can't believe I'm saying this. Another guard commands him to use her flashlight as an adult toy in his mouth and rear end. And this turns out to be more mind control from Cortex Kate.
I'm gonna stuff it right up your tight little chocolate starfish. Do it. You know you want to.
What is the writer's obsession with this amount of weird, gross out, adult themed jokes? It's way worse here in Gen V than it is in The Boys, if you can believe it. Oh no, they couldn't just write it so that she just tricks them into leaving the hallway. No, it's gotta be like this, because taking consent away from someone is funny.
You people are sick, wicked, funky, misanthropic, codependent animals.
As soon as they turn off the electricity, run.
What electricity?
3 years ago, Golden Boy and Kate were called in to try and settle down Sam, as he's just learned that the reason why he's so messed up in the brain is because they were given Compound V at birth, signed off by their parents.
They thought they were giving us powers. Well, I got a lot more than powers. I got a broken brain!
And it's great that we're exploring the negative impacts of giving a kid superpowers. As Vault have found out and are trying to cover up, it doesn't always go according to plan, forever ruining the lives of people who could have turned out well adjusted. Back to the present, and Kate is pleading with Andre not to rush in to their rescue mission, which would likely get him killed. Instead, they could just hang out for a while and do stuff like kiss. Your boyfriend / best friend's body chunks have barely gone cold, and you're already hooking up. When Andre's not betraying his best friend, he's disappointing his father, as he doesn't take being a celebrity very seriously, like his pops did when he was in his prime, being a soup called Polarity. Speaking of parents, there's a gala happening to commemorate Brink, where the students can bring along their parents too, and I couldn't help but question this comment when Jordan's parents bring food.
Brought you some Whataburger, Deep's calamari poppers.
I thought that Deep had a public stance against animal cruelty, not very on brand to have a calamari dish with his name slapped across it. The gala seems to be primarily about Vault making more money and talent scout in this room of young, hopeful soups. Not much respect for the dead going on around here. When Emma's mum suggests they cash in on her eating disorder, Emma storms off, which catches the attention of Andre. He knows that she has the perfect abilities to help in rescuing Sam, leading to an awesome scene where she shrinks down and sneaks into Sam's cell under his dinner plate. With his mental state being in shambles, he doesn't quite know what to make of it.
You're a manifestation, but why would I imagine you?
No, I'm real.
Prove it.
But soon enough they start bonding, as they both have a lot of quirks. His quirks can get slightly more violent, but on the plus side, they have a very similar sense of humour. They have to cut this romance in short however, as the alarm starts sounding and he instructs her to hide away quick. For hurting her new love interest, she burrows herself into the guard's ear and turns his brain into soup. Well, that's an interesting way to end the episode, and now I want more.
We broadcast you despoiling every single hole.
Emma and Sam made it out, slaughtering every guard in their path, and taking shelter in an abandoned movie theatre. Things aren't entirely peachy though, as she has to break the news to him about his brother exploding.
No.
An understandable crash out. When he calms down, they again start bonding, but when it appears they have a deep attraction, he loses his nerve, fearing getting close to another person who might leave him like the others. We'll catch up with these two again soon. For now, we get to see more of Tech Knight, which I think is great, because his powers are really interesting to me, having extraordinary senses that serve a variety of uses, like detecting if someone's lying, based on their adrenaline spike and pupil dilation and such.
I myself have nothing to hide.
Are you sure about that? That small bead of sweat on your brow, adrenaline seeping from your pores.
Making Tech Knight an intimidating detective, because you know if you're guilty, he'll see right through your poker face. Vault have sent him to Goldolkin University to divert the Golden Boy story in a way that keeps the real story covered up. We knew Tech Knight was a scumbag anyway, but it's still interesting to see how willing he is to abuse his powers in order to earn some bank. Indira Shetty's nervous about his visit, as what he doesn't know, and more importantly Vault doesn't know, is how much shady stuff she's up to down in the Soup's secret prison. We'll be finding out more too later on. The MAGA hat guy from earlier, Rufus, tells Marie that with his psychic abilities, he can help find her sister, but his true intentions are to mess with her mind, and suddenly she has a memory gap, snapping forward to them being alone in his room, where it appears that he took advantage of her. And as punishment, well, I can't show you what she does to his pee-pee. But imagine this balloon popping video represents a pee-pee being inflated by blood until the point where it goes... Marie and Jordan are arguing because finally Marie publicly admitted the truth about Jordan being the hero, which despite her requesting to do as such, Jordan does feel it's a silly sacrifice made too late to have any real impact. And this heated conversation leads into them making out, and I just feel this comes out of nowhere. I really didn't sense any chemistry between these two. Emma walks in on them, now equally as confused, but they've got bigger problems right now, as Sam's crashed out again, saying that he needs to go kill the doctor who was in charge of him in prison. This is after the voices in his head convinced him that the people he cares about will never be safe until the doctor's dealt with.
Shut up, television Jason Ritter!
You have to kill him!
They arrive at the doctor's house in the middle of a very tense standoff. It soon becomes apparent that in order to calm him down, they're gonna need to get physical. And we see that Emma's growth abilities also works in reverse order, where she can eat a ton of food and get giant, which rips off all her clothes, and she pins Sam down into submission.
Let me go!
Sam, you're alright. I'm here. You're okay.
Type step on me in your super thanks to publicly out yourself right now if this scene does anything for you. You freak. Even freakier is that suddenly Marie's mind cuts forward again to being in bed with Jordan, so clearly Rufus has scrambled something in her mind. Indira Shetty destroys Tech Knight's project with all the televised interviews and interrogation work by saying that if he doesn't drop the case, she'll release security cam footage of him putting his pee-pee into a variety of strange holes.
Can't run forever, you know.
They're gonna find you!
Andre and Kate also wake up, not knowing what happened. Oh yeah, we backstabbed someone, in more ways than one. But seriously, they don't even know where they are right now. Emma feeling it too, waking up in her giant form, taking a watery nap in the pool. Sam's come to apologise, but they don't even remember who he is.
Why are you looking at me like that? Emma, it's me, Sam.
He believes they got their memory wiped by the doctors, and so off he goes to investigate. Their natural assumption is that Rufus did this, as the video shows he was here last night. To be honest, I'm surprised he feels like partying so soon after his balloon burst. They chase him across campus and he tries to hide in his bedroom, but Andre was here waiting for him. He attempts to get Rufus to talk, but then...
Kinda holding up the line there, dog.
Emma has a fragment of her memory restored, seeing the jumper that Sam got her. Marie then finds a tracking device that was surgically inserted in her neck, and so they realise that the mind manipulation goes far beyond what Rufus can do. Marie goes to check if Kate has a tracker too, but then she realises that Kate is actually a part of this memory loss situation.
I'm so sorry. I really wish it didn't have to be like this.
Right now, Sam's hallucinating himself as a puppet, fighting other puppets, who were sent in by Vault to shut him down. And for once, I don't have to worry about pixelating the screen, but I still can't show you it in its original form due to the copyrighted music. When Emma eventually finds him, he reveals what we now know about Kate, and Emma manages to give the emergency call just as Andre is about to kill Rufus. Kate is now put on the spot and forced to confess the truth.
Tell them it isn't true.
I'm so sorry. Andre, please understand. I didn't.
Monster. You finally have a choice, so wake the f up.
She tries to make it right with the gang by restoring their memory, but for them that's not really going to be enough.
Shetty made you do this?
You were in my head.
Why? I'm sorry.
Every time Kate uses her abilities, it causes her blood vessels to burst, and this time she's pushed so hard that she's put herself into a coma. Strangely, it appears that her powers are still in effect, as they realise that right now they're trapped within Kate's mind, with her memories helping to fill in some information gaps, and her old crush, Soldier Boy, tells them they need to escape her mind before it completely shuts down, and he holds the key for how they can do that.
Then the single most important thing I can tell you.
Her memories reveal that she used to suffer with constant voices in her head. Jesus Christ. Until Indira supplied her with a pill that keeps the voices silent. So that's Kate's loyalty bought. It's also revealed that she was cheating on Luke way before he died.
Was that real?
She didn't make you do it, did she? You wanted to.
Marie! Go!
And lastly, we learn that Jordan knew the whole time that Luke was being hostile towards Brink, so she had an opportunity to stop him before all this chaos went down. When they find the real Kate, Andre gives a speech saying that she'll never be forgiven, but she still can do the right thing now by waking up and setting them all free. And so she does.
I know you guys don't trust me. Yeah, and you're gonna have to work really hard to get it back.
Back in the soup prison, we see that the Doctor, who has appeared enough to get a name now, Dr. Cardosa, is showing Indira the results of a virus that he's been working on under her command. It's the very same virus we saw in The Boys, that aims to kill every soup in existence. Cardosa's intentions were simply to make the soup sick, just enough to remove their powers. But on this latest test batch, he's made it way too strong, and killed his test subject. Emma and Sam boinked.
You want me to increase the viral infection rate? Right.
There's more test subjects not doing so well, and Dr. Cardosa says, yeah, okay, I'm no longer cool with what we're doing here. Indira Shetty says, if you stop what you're doing now and report it to Vault, they won't thank you for the whistle blow, they'll kill your whole family.
What would happen if you told Vault you created a virus that kills soups?
I didn't.
The gang tell Kate that to keep fixing what she did, she needs to go mind control Shetty and get her to confess to what she's doing. But Shetty's proving hard to get hold of, which again isn't a good enough excuse for the gang, believing that Kate isn't trying hard enough.
I want to believe you. I know you do.
Jordan has a key to Shetty's office, but they know that getting some secret files and trying to do an expose themselves won't be enough with the size of their influence. They need someone with a much larger audience, like Victoria Newman, who hasn't yet been butchered in half. They find out that Indira's family were on the flight that Homelander and Maeve failed to save. And then, in a hilarious exposition dump, Cardosa stumbles into Indira's office drunk and says out loud to himself all of the dirty details of the virus they're working on, with Marie and Jordan listening in while hiding under the desk.
You want me to increase the viral infection rate?
Kill them all, she says.
That was such a goofy way for them to find out. Emma tells Sam to stay in her room just until the dust dies down, and under no circumstances should you leave this room, even if there's an awesome looking super sledge party that you'd be a moron to miss out on. It's nice to see him bro down and mix in with a crowd, like a regular kid. Rufus encourages him to come to the next party, but it's not really a party, it's a televised political interview. Gen V is the same as the boys in their approach to political commentary, and I just don't care for it. It's always very on the nose and cringe.
Sorry. Taking this orange cranberry scone, bitch.
I suppose you think that was terribly clever.
We're here to enjoy some soup action, so that's what I'm going to focus on. For reasons no one cares about, the crowd starts fighting, which spills out into the streets, where Emma sees Sam and says no, don't hang out with those guys, they're bad news. Meeting with Newman, Marie finds out that they have the same superpowers. It's just that Newman channels hers into making heads explode. And Marie getting into Goldolkin University was greenlit in the background by Newman, who wants Marie to do well in life, knowing they have a similar backstory and struggle. Newman agrees to deal with the virus situation, but she's keeping her exact plan to herself. While attending a TV interview, Andre's dad, Polarity, seems to be having some kind of stroke or heart attack. And I really like this sequence of him in the ambulance, where his powers are going out of control, and Andre has to push really hard in order for them to not be crushed inside. It's very chaotic, and it makes for some good tension. Kate finally meets with Shetty and says no more getting me to do mind wiping. But then Shetty says, but I love you and I need you to help one more time. Then I promise I'll take you away from all this. As sweet and seemingly earnest as she's being here, Kate knows that she's up to no good with the whole deadly virus plan. So she controls her mind to reveal the whole truth, where we learn that Goldolkin University was actually founded by a scientist of the same name who wanted to run tests on these soup students. And ever since what happened to Shetty's daughter and husband, she's wanted to eradicate all soups. And now that she's fessed up, Kate orders her to serve herself a nice slice of death cake.
Do you know what you've done?
Justice.
Closing the episode out, we see that Newman's plan was to meet with Cardosa so that she could take the virus off his hands and leave his mind totally blown.
The air must be a little dry. What kind of animal are you?
In quite possibly the lamest excuse to split up the group, Kate and Sam say they want to free the other prisoners, but the others are like, no, it could be dangerous. Which I find to be a strange thing to fall out over, considering that not too long ago, they all wanted to expose and bring down the operation. Marie's trying to get Andre on their side, but right now he's busy talking to the doctor about what happened to his dad, where he learns that the more they use their magnetic powers, the more it destroys their brain. And Andre shows some clear nervousness and wanting to avoid talking about his own health to focus back on his dad. Now this actually has some convenience to it in a rather regrettable way, because Chase Perdomo, who plays Andre, died in a tragic accident on his way to begin filming season 2, and you'll see how they handle this unexpected loss in the first episode of season 2. But yeah, the slight convenience that I mention is that this dialogue about their health issues makes the rewrite less jarring, as they're able to reasonably explain why Andre is no longer here. We'll come back to this more when the season begins. But yeah, to lose your life so young is truly awful and tragic. R.I.P. Chance. Down in the prison, Sam makes short work of the first guard, and then Kate mind controls the other to unlock the cells. This is a cool shot. Kate gives them a speech to make them realise that payback is needed against the ones who kept them down here. But they falsely believe that all faculty are to blame, so they deserve to be killed. Wouldn't you just focus your revenge on the big dogs? This seems needlessly cruel. The situation escalates into a school-wide brawl, and it's pretty entertaining. The faculty aren't entirely powerless to fight back, as the ones who are in the know have more of those high-frequency pain boxes, with a little spicy after-dinner mint to finish them off. In order to keep his mind in the game and stop hearing and seeing Golden Boy, Sam gets Kate to mess with his mind and rid him of all feeling, which is a neat idea. A whole lot of crazy stuff goes down, and the gang are well and truly split on how they want things to go down. Kate's going crazy with her powers, her eyes becoming so bloodshot that she looks like the actual devil, as she commands this invisible soup, named Maverick, to take out Marie, and she finds out the only way she can win this fight is by sensing Maverick's blood. When Kate tries to take over Jordan's mind, Marie panics and unintentionally explodes her arm. Before things get even messier, Homelander makes his grand entrance, and everyone stops fighting in fear of what he might do.
Sir, I am.
What kind of animal are you? Do you like attacking your own kind?
His first action is taking out Marie, but of course this isn't the end of Marie. She wakes up alongside her friends in this strange hospital / holding cell.
There's no doors. Where are we? You saw Starlight?
With the tragic passing of Chance, a complete rewrite was needed for the second season, as they respectfully did not recast his role. Honestly, I respect the writers for taking on this challenge, and I do think some people are being a little harsh in their negative reviews of this episode. The production team had a big problem to deal with, and I think they handled the situation very well. One more thing before we continue. I just realised in the previous season, I occasionally referred to Jordan as she or he. Trust me when I say it wasn't intentional, and I'll try not to do it again. It was just an instinctual reaction based on what we saw on screen, and whichever body form Jordan had taken on at the time. For me, it was nothing more than an unconscious oopsie. It was nothing malicious. Alright now, let's begin. We get a flashback of Thomas Goldolkin rushing to tell the other scientists that the V sample they're about to inject isn't ready yet. But it's too late, it's in their system now. And as much as I'd like to show you the results, it's way too messed up. In terms of timeline, we now find ourselves around the end of Season 4 of The Boys, and presumably this last season of Gen V will take us into the Season 4 finale, where we saw them helping to take out the boys. It appears that Emma and Jordan are being transported to a new prison, but to their surprise, Kate is there to greet them, and to her surprise, she learns that Andre died while trying to escape prison.
Oh my god. No. When did it happen? You. Jordan, Emma, I didn't know.
They've been brought back to school, where they're also greeted by this student guidance lady, who has a bumblebee stinger for a backside, yet doesn't have a soup name.
Oh, that sucks.
At least call her Bumble Beatrix or something. Much to their protest, they're marched out on stage for a hero's welcome back. As Vault knows, the only way they can salvage the university's reputation is by openly celebrating the exposure of the air quotes underground activity that they had no idea was going on. And thank God for the Guardians of Goldolkin. It pleases me greatly that the new antagonist and replacement dean of the university is one of the more complex bad guys in the whole show. No, scratch that, the most complex bad guy in the whole boys verse. The reasons why he's so interesting will be unravelled as the season goes on. For now, his name is Cypher, and his way of talking and his presence in the room has the students very cautious of him. Kate almost finds out the hard way when she tries pressuring him into talking about what happened to Andre.
You ever gonna push me again?
It's not really given much explanation, but somehow Marie broke out of prison and is now keeping a low profile. She happens upon some cartoonishly evil Homelanders who don't care much for Starlighters, and with little provocation, the main guy punches Marie. Because our side are perfect angels, and anyone who isn't on our side are soulless devils. No. I refuse to get pulled into this conversation and entertain this childish worldview. We're moving on. Emma goes to Polarity seeking his help, as she knows that Cypher is involved in the prison system and might be behind what happened to Andre. But Polarity is too deep in the grieving process and doesn't feel like helping right now.
You can do something. We can do something.
He was all I had! Now get the f*** out!
Lightening the mood, we get the unexpected, official first-in-the-flesh appearance of the outcast soup Dognot. Quite possibly the strangest soup in the entire roster, and I couldn't be more overjoyed. Soups are so much more entertaining when they're just the worst, most degenerate filth bags.
Hey, beautiful. Cock these, bitch.
He's sniffing out Marie's trail, and when he finds her motel room, the two begin fighting. He almost wins, but then out of nowhere, Starlight bursts in. She warns Marie that being on the run exposes her to more attacks from Vault's hitmen, but if she were to return to school and surrounded by her friends, she wouldn't be so easy to attack. Starlight needs her help because Thomas Goldolkin's old research project, called the Odessa Program, is being brought back into action by someone at Vought. They need to find out who and what exactly this test does to the Supes. At Rufus's frat house party, which for some reason Emma and Jordan are willingly attending, Sam's in the room and tries talking to Emma as if the finale didn't even happen.
He was like my brother.
This conversation causing her to crash out, and through this emotional outpour gets really tiny. So she hops in a hula doll outfit and parties the trauma away. After seeing the news about Marie fighting the Homelanders, they catch up with her and have an emotional exchange, where Marie didn't yet know about Andre. Jordan explains that he died when he was trying to use his maximum power in attempting to open a blast door and escape the prison.
And he kept trying, and he stroked the fuck out, and he dropped, and he died.
Again, kudos to the writing team for adapting the storyline in this way. They made his departure make sense, and make this storyline feel as natural as it can realistically be. Kate's here too, and she urges Marie to hand herself over to Vought and tell them what she's involved with, because if she doesn't do this now, and she gets way too deep in the case files, they'll see her as a threat, and do way more than just knock her out. But Marie isn't willing to go down like that. Kate tries to adjust her mind, so Jordan pushes her into a wall, hard enough to crack her skull open. Even if Marie wanted to save her, the blood is just going to keep on pouring out. And with everything that Kate's done, they don't much feel like calling an ambulance. So I guess that's RIP to Cortex Kate.
Good morning, bitches.
Cypher welcomes Marie back to the uni, but almost immediately addresses the elephant in the room about being seen at Elmira prison. He wants Marie to feel that he has nothing to hide, so that she'll let her guard down around him. Alarmingly, he tells her the news that Kate isn't dead. She's in hospital right now, but he tells her this in kind of a knowing way, like he knows what she did, but won't say it out loud.
I mean, touch and go, thoughts and prayers, you know?
One of the quirks of his idiolect, and yes, I did Google to find a word for someone's way of speaking, is making you unsure as to whether or not he's being threatening. There's some propaganda going on with the Homelanders, labelling Kate's attack as an attack on their whole group, putting these three on the Starlighter team in quite the pickle, where they know they're going to have to watch their back. Sam visits Kate in hospital, and it turns out that disturbing a psychic, fresh after someone tried to murder her, isn't the best idea.
They let me die. How could they? What?
You need to go.
Emma's eyeing up her next love interest, who kind of looks like a buff male version of her. It's a bit weird, but I'm not here to kink shame. I'll save that judgment for a freakier suit. As well as being the dean, Cypher also leads the class on hero optimization, where a select few who he sees potential in get his personal coaching. Right now, these students lack a deeper understanding of their powers, Cypher giving Marie as the example, who knows that she can move blood, but there's way more to her abilities that she's yet to discover, and so Cypher sets the class a challenge: get to the other side of this room and push this button. Oh, and they're gonna have to get through this soup called Vicor.
Good morning, bitches. Who's ready to deep throat my hammer?
He completely wipes the floor with them, and in a cool twist, even when Marie attempts to stop his heart, he beats it back into rhythm and turns the tables, showing her some mercy before the game ends. Polarity now works at the uni, with the secret agenda of working more closely with the enemy so he can help uncover the truths. They aren't certain of it, but they believe Starlight when she says that the most important thing to look into is the Odessa files. So they pop down to the archives and try to sweet talk the guy behind the desk. Well, Cypher's trying. Emma got sidetracked and is now dancing to the beat of a ticking clock.
Session, and you told me that my preparation H had leaked to the back of my Salmon Banana Republic.
She got high about an hour ago, not expecting to go on a mission, and this makes for a pretty funny sequence of events, and is easily Lizzie Broadway's best highlight in the show. Her being high on whatever actually plays into their favour, because she's nerding out over a show that the desk guy also happens to be obsessed with.
Justice never forgets.
Shh. Legend! Oh my god, you're just a legend!
So he allows them temporary access to the hidden archive files. Inside, they find an even more hidden room, showing that Vought has a secret history with the naughty German party and the pointy hat parade. No real surprises there, but Emma does get surprised by what she reads in one particular file. A surprise so exciting, it makes her go uncontrollably giant.
Sorry,
She does that.
The Deep makes an appearance to initiate a hazing for the new frats. It's a bit of a nothing scene, but it does lead into Sam talking with the other frat brothers, who tell him that Emma took an Uber to the same place where Kate was found dead, so maybe Emma had something to do with it. When confronted, she makes him realise that he's kind of been brainwashed by Kate, feeling loyalty to her for giving him the release from the voices. He needs to realise that he was just as involved in the catastrophe of the finale that led them to this point. So who is he to be throwing shade? Marie and Jordan get back together for reasons that don't really matter. Trust me, you'll see. The propaganda I mentioned earlier comes back into play as Dognot killed a Starlighter in a fabricated scenario where he caught the guy who attacked Kate. We then get the reveal that Odessa isn't just the name of the research project, it was the soup name that Marie was given at birth.
So get your extra large Burger Kids meal.
With the political firestorm dividing the campus, some unknown person keeps putting up Starlighter posters, which is making this human barista very nervous, not wanting to be seen as choosing a side and marking her as a target for exaggerated cartoon people, like this Charlie Gurr fella.
You think that's funny? Taking this orange cranberry scone, bitch.
I'll take your theories down below. Do you think they intentionally cast someone who looks like a fat Charlie Kirk? The gang are yapping about Marie being Odessa and what it all means. I'm going to keep on calling her Marie, as it would be weird to change her name now. She says maybe her auntie can help clear things up. And she does, kind of. She has a bunch of pictures and a story, telling how Marie was conceived and born thanks to the intervention from scientists at Goldolkin, who concealed from the parents that they'd be giving their baby Compound V. Eerily, there's also a picture of Cypher holding her as a baby. She also finds out that her sister Annabeth is staying here, and Marie is pissed that her aunt would keep this from her. But as she puts it, and rightly so, they were terrified of Marie, seeing what she did to her parents. And Marie responds very rightly so, saying that what happened wasn't in her control. She was just a scared girl, getting her period for the first time. She had no idea she had powers, and no idea how to control them.
Because you just stood there and said that I massacred them. You don't know anything. And you make me feel like a monster for it. And you let my sister think that I'm a monster. You let her believe that it's my fault.
Kate's back at uni, with mixed emotions of anxiety and anger towards her friends, who left her for dead.
It is so terrible what happened. But at least the perpetrators who did this were brought to justice. Yeah.
She meets with Cypher, who cautions her on causing a scene about the attack, as right now her powers are unstable and unreliable, and if Vault become aware of this, they'll consider her as damaged goods, and likely get taken out. She's no longer able to help Sam keep the voices away, which is bad timing, because today he's crashing out hard, seeing even more things as puppets.
Yeah, garbage.
Eventually he finds the different solution of watching cartoons and puffing on magical herbs. There's a not very important side plot going on where Emma's helping the barista investigate who's putting up the Starlighter posters, which is causing the barista to be harassed for it. I only mention it because we get more of an introduction to this rat-tailed soup, who again has no name.
Oh, that sucks.
No, not doing this for every soup. Her name is just Harper, and she has the ability to use anyone's powers for a limited amount of time. This will come into play later. The episode ends with Jordan on stage, deviating from the approved script to reveal that Vault are the ones falsely reporting Starlighters as the attackers, when really it was Jordan who attacked her, making the crowd go from Jordan lovers to Jordan haters. The school disbelieved Jordan's story, with Kate also having to stick to the Starlighter cover-up due to what I said earlier about her tenuous value to Vault. Cypher is big mad at Jordan's stunt and says that the only way to fix this is by getting into a cage fight with Marie, with the fixed result of Marie winning, as the students hate Jordan's guts and would very much like to see them beaten up. If they both don't agree to this, Cypher's gonna have the whole gang sent back to Elmira.
I'm sure Jordan would issue some sort of statement.
You do not have a f***ing choice!
They go to Kate, knowing that she's the only one close enough to Cypher to maybe help them out this jam. She reluctantly says okay, but there's something strange about him, as she's tried to read his mind, but when she does, she sees nothing about his powers. So they don't know what kind of threat he actually poses, outside of his influence in the school system. She does know, however, that he's hiding something behind this big vault-looking door, and whatever's inside might expose his secret. Kate goes to trick the security guard into giving her the keys, but with her powers still being shaky, her instructions get translated into him sticking his pepper army into a garden gnome. Inside the secret room, they find a man inside this weird life support chamber who looks like a human-sized pepper army. Part of the fight agreement is that Marie takes on more personal coaching with Cypher, who wants her to go beyond controlling blood that she can see, knowing for sure that if she puts her mind to it, she can manipulate the blood inside people's bodies, using these bags of blood for practice.
Beautiful.
When they go to a live test, and she goes deep inside her mind to feel the blood present in the room, she realises that Cypher's blood doesn't contain any V, so maybe he's been lying this whole time about being a soup. They come up with a plan to catch Cypher, admitting to not having powers, but they know that Kate would be searched before being able to meet with him, so she wouldn't be able to sneak in some sort of hidden camera. So Emma says that she'll shrink down and sneak in a camera by going through the water pipes. All Kate has to do is get him alone and confront him with the accusation that he has no powers here. As they're talking, the big fight between Marie and Jordan is going down. They begin by exchanging some furious lip smacking. It's absolutely brutal, and even the crowd thinks it's too much. When Kate brings up the human accusation, he goes, wow, okay, you got me, I guess. And he immediately detects that he's being set up.
Low angle?
Oh, shit.
This is some crap, Kate.
He then goes on to say, if you don't think I have powers, then check this out. And he telepathically controls Jordan into actually fighting Marie.
Give us a wave.
Oh, Jordan Lee with a flex, waving to the Dean's box.
This moment for me was what turned Cypher into a super interesting villain. How the hell is he doing this if he doesn't have V in his system?
Cypher? Like a neat puppet.
With no strings.
Cypher's taking care of his Pepper Army man, who appears to still have some function left, but is entirely dependent on his care. And then, in probably the most shocking scene so far, Sister Sage walks in, and the two appear to have some sort of, third chair watching arrangement, as Pepper Army's watching him clapping while he's soaking in the tub. It's very strange. Jordan's freaking out, because while their mind was being controlled by Cypher, they felt completely helpless, like being in the passenger seat of your own brain. Cypher comes in and says this is just a taste of what's to come. Marie will continue her training, as he's just sent Kate to Elmira, and more friends will join unless she complies. When Kate's forced into her prison scrubs, she tries using her powers to set herself free. Kaya's then warned if she tries that again, she's getting zapped. Sam goes home for the first time in years, to very mixed reactions from the parents. The dad welcoming him with open arms and love, but the mum seems scared. Sam gets angry seeing Mum on the phone, presuming that she's calling to get him sent away again. And in his state of panic, he unintentionally hits his dad.
Mom, Dad, I'm sorry.
No! Stay away!
When things calm down, his mum explains that it wasn't the drugs that messed him up, his mind was messed up from birth, and they allowed Vault to give him the experimental drug as a kind of last resort, praying it would make him better, but only made things worse. Despite how dark this conversation sounds, it was actually quite a nice scene, because it ends with them having some understanding and kind of putting the past behind them. The gang form a plan to get Kate out of Elmira, and with their previous time they spent inside, they have a rough idea of the building layout, so they can map out their route. Needing his super strength, they try to recruit Sam, but he's like, wait, you told me Kate was a bad person, so the answer is no. Polarity arranges a meeting with Cypher, who immediately knows what his game is here. He's aware of his investigations in the archives, so he compels him to get to the point, which is to ask Cypher what really happened to Andre. Yes, he died trying to open a blast door, but it was only because Cypher kept on pushing him to, trying to test his limits, like he just did with Marie. So angered to hear this, Polarity goes in for a knife kill, but is suddenly stopped.
You really have no idea what you're dealing with.
Back to the prison breakout. They barely make it past the roof stage when they're taken out and given the same treatment as Kate.
They grabbed you too?
Actually, this is your rescue. Surprise.
We learn that Sister Sage is involved in some greater plan with Cypher, and she reminds him that they need to get to the result stage soon, as time is running out. So he gets right to speaking with Marie again, to convince her that cooperating is the only path forward. He offers her a chance to be with her sister again, who's also locked up in here, but once again Marie protests. All the while, Kate's been working at her shock collar. Wow, I can't say that word right. Shock collar, not chocolat. And she manages to break herself out and set her friends free. But this seems a bit odd. Why aren't the alarms blaring, and where are the rest of the guards? They know this has to be a setup, but they go for it anyway. When they get to Annabeth's cell, she's laying on the floor bled out, and this inspires Marie to reach a new level of power by not only getting the blood back in her body, but restoring her blood flow and heartbeat. A power level so extreme that it affects everyone around her. So yeah, Marie can bring people back from the dead. That's some next level soup stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see what else she can do with this.
Are any of you capable of dicing a tomato?
As they're making their way to the exit, Annabeth, who I'm going to call AB, because I be lazy, suddenly has a premonition that they need to change course. So yeah, looks like she's a soup too, who rightly predicts that Sam's going to burst through the wall and give them their escape route. AB's happy to be alive, but not too happy about her present company, protesting the idea of running away with them.
Look, just let me out of the car, okay? Annabeth, hey, it's all right.
When Cypher gets word of their escape, he gets so angry he starts slapping his pepper army around. We've all been there, mate, it's okay. They take shelter in an abandoned library, where, as luck would have it, there's a box of clean clothes and a bunch of snacks. When dressed, AB explains that her powers only allow her to see the immediate future when she most needs to. Kind of like a precog from Minority Report, but less consistent. Beyond that, she doesn't want to get any more familiar with her sister, as she's still being a crybaby about Marie killing their parents. Emma goes to call Polarity, but realises that she doesn't know his or anyone else's phone number, which is a funny reflection on modern times, as aside from my own, I don't know anyone's number, and I think the same applies to many people now. Cypher is already with Polarity, anticipating their contact, and he says that he could care less about them all escaping, he only cares to get in touch with Marie. She's the special one, and he's always known it. When Harper makes a call on Emma's behalf, Cypher is on the other end, puppeteering Polarity.
You've done the right thing, Harper. Now tell me,
do you know where they are?
Vicor breaks the silence of the library, and the gang get their grudge match against him. And there's a funny line of dialogue, where Emma needs a compliment to feel whole, which will help her get bigger.
Wait, say something nice about me. Like what? You.
The fight ends with the unexpected return of Victoria Newman's daughter Zoe, who puts a brutal end to Vicor's rampage. She's here with Stan Edgar, and finally we're starting to see this Gen V story tie into the season 4 finale of The Boys. He takes them all back to a safe house, but the gang don't immediately feel safe. What are Stan Edgar's intentions? Why go to the trouble of saving them?
He cooks for us and makes us comfortable and gets us to trust him because he wants something from us. It's the Vault playbook.
Just like Cypher, his interest lies solely with Marie, because she's one of the surviving babies that Thomas Goldolkin tested on in trying to make god-tier soups. Prior to her, only one other baby survived, way back in the early 80s. That baby was Homelander. He then tells the story of how Thomas Goldolkin's work was all destroyed in a fire, the same fire that reportedly killed him, but a body was never found. They then realise that Cypher has been keeping Thomas Goldolkin alive in his secret room, so we can remove the Pepper Army name and start calling him Thomas. Well, this was an exciting twist. He's also keeping Polarity under his control, impatiently waiting on some kind of progression in getting hold of Marie. He speaks to Polarity candidly about his greater plan, which is to eliminate all of the weaker soups so that the stronger ones can prosper, insinuating that Andre was one of the weaker ones, an insult so triggering that Polarity gets his control back. The episode ends with Marie deciding to run away, and Kate decides to come along, hoping that she can exchange a favour of Marie fixing her brain if Kate helps her to take down Cypher.
Let's put a stop to this right now.
AB's had a vision that something bad's gonna happen to Marie, and Jordan knows for sure that they've gone back to the uni to face down against Cypher. They break into Cypher's house, but aside from Polarity, no one's home. Cypher's relocated with Thomas to a boiler room somewhere in the uni, where again he gets so upset that he starts bashing around his Thomas. See, the joke still works, at least on myself. Polarity now knows that he has the capability to knock out Cypher's control, but his current health condition is preventing him from being part of the takedown. When his body starts seizing again, Marie puts her new powers into action by removing the condition from his bloodstream.
I've been sick for so long. I forgot what it's like to feel healthy.
They bust into Cypher's office, frustrated to find that he's not here, but then he makes it easy for them by giving them a call, where Marie can hear the heavy steel doors of his training room, so they know where to find him now. Polarity and some of the gang take on Cypher, while Marie goes looking for Thomas. Polarity now feels fully confident that he'll be able to knock out Cypher, but then he has trouble keeping up with which soup he's currently controlling. Marie finds Thomas and says, "I'll heal you if you help me take out Cypher," to which he nods. His transformation back into his old self is super gross, but it does come with quite the amazing twist. Thomas Goldolkin wasn't under Cypher's control. It was Thomas controlling a regular guy, who he gave the fake name Cypher.
This is for Andre.
No, I'm not him. I'm not him.
Do it!
No, God, please.
So Thomas Goldolkin is the real Cypher, and after many years, he finally releases control of this poor guy.
My name's Doug Brightbill. I got a cat, Buster, and a car, and I just want to live because he's finally out of my head.
Now that Thomas is able-bodied again, he takes a stroll in the outside world, and he immediately gets to enacting his plan of ridding the world of inferior soups, like this guy who can turn his feet into hands.
There we go. Let's put a stop to this right now.
Well, Cypher just got even more interesting, which is actually kind of a shame, as we only have one episode left, and I get the horrible feeling he's gonna die.
Prove that you belong, or die trying.
Well, here we are, the episode that should bring us up to speed in time for season 5 of The Boys. If you're enjoying this recap and have found it useful in tying these storylines together, please consider dropping me a like. It's a small thing, but trust me, that little blue thumb lighting up tells YouTube that other people will also get value from watching this, and it really helps me to keep doing this. So, we go back to 1967, when the scientist took that V, and the tragic fire almost claimed Cypher's life. But right at the last second, he gave himself a dose of V. Back to the present, the gang are having trouble adjusting their mind to this guy not being the real Cypher, having to disassociate this face with their feelings of anger and rage. Right now, the real Cypher is catching up on all the pleasures of life that he's missed so dearly, including slamming some sage into a frying pan to perfectly season some chicken. Oh yeah, just like that. For some nice closure, Doug shares some positive stories about Andre, rather than the diminishing and heartless words that Cypher siphoned through his lips. But this nice time is cut violently short, as Black Noir captures Polarity. As this is the replacement Noir, he's chatting away with Polarity, while he's being held in this cell, where it turns out New Noir is a massive Polarity fan.
But I feel like it's kind of a disservice to your fan base, and also just not great storytelling. It was an honor, man.
Polarity's here under Sage's command, but then for some reason, she leaves the door open for him to escape. So really wasn't much point to this. Before they enter their final battle, Marie does Kate the honour of fixing her brain so that her powers can be useful once more. Cypher goes live to try and inspire the students to rise up against the direction this uni's taken, where their values determined by a social media score. So come meet him in the training room and he'll reassess your value based on your powers alone. Oh, and if you don't measure up to his standards, he's gonna kill you. Only a handful of people turn up, and they soon realise they shouldn't have, as he makes it known they're not here to be celebrated. They're here to either prove their worth or be killed. And as they're no match for his mind control, they all fail miserably. Well, not miserably for us. It's actually kind of fun watching them fail, with the whimsical music, people fighting each other rather than him, and then he makes them all do a dance.
Get ready for the judgment day.
When talking with Sage, he explains that his greater goal is to reset the talent pool in the Seven, believing that mediocrity has allowed soups like the Deep and Firecracker to rub shoulders with the truly powerful, like Homelander. And he even feels that Homelander is way too much of an attention-seeking baby and doesn't really deserve the admiration. Personally, I wonder if this is just Cypher being jealous about not being the big man in charge. That's how it comes across to me anyway. Marie comes in to level the playing field, but this isn't the only surprise in store, as... oh, how can I put this? The episode is called Trojan because this soup here is basically a Trojan horse who had a whole bunch of soups inside him, which to me is a bit of a redundant move considering that Marie just wandered in, so did they really need to sneak in such a grotesque way? This soup called Black Hole has made his whole life about jamming impossibly big things into his very spacious letterbox. Harper then uses her power to mimic Cypher's power, which to me kind of creates a paradox of control, as he still has his powers. She's a power mimic, not a power thief. So how is his control no longer working? I don't know, let's move on. Marie tries to finish him off, but he manages to take control of her, and he almost kills the entire friend group. But then Polarity comes in with a last minute pushback, making him temporarily vulnerable and allowing Marie to try again. It's time for the heroes to skip town and join the resistance for the bigger picture, which means joining forces with Starlight and also A-Train. Rather frustratingly, we don't get to see how they go from this point to where we saw them in Season 4, so I'm really hoping in Season 5 that we get these dots connected. Really, all we can be thankful for is that this spin-off had some great moments, and it allowed us to get to know these faces, who will presumably return in Season 5. Oh, by the way, Marie and Jordan split. Same goes for Emma and Sam. So that's why I didn't waste too much of your time covering these guys being on and off again. And there we have it. This was a bizarre project to work on. It was a real mixed bag of enjoyment / pure agony, as I cut around a good chunk of cringe, which I know most of you guys were turned off by, and probably dipped on by episode 1. I also had to cut around the egregious amount of scenes with highly graphic material, if you catch my drift. Well anyway, now we can get pumped up for Season 5. It's going to be such a big event for us, isn't it? We've had what feels like a lifetime of build-up, waiting for this story to reach its climax. Please, please, please don't be bad. I'll feel like such a fool for being so invested. But look, either way, I've enjoyed my time so much in unpacking it and talking about it for you guys to be entertained by. I appreciate you all for being here. Here's the boys' recap playlist, or it's going to be the big video when that one's ready.